Hello, everyone. For today's episode, we will be covering Lake Mildred. If you are in the area and searching for a campground near Lake Mildred, you will find the Thousands Trails Lake of the Springs. But Lake Mildred is an artificial reservoir in northwestern California near the city of Oregon House in Yuba County. This reservoir is created by the Los Verjeles Dam, which is located on Dry Creek, upstream of Collins Lake. This dam forms Lake Mildred. Today it is owned and operated by Thousand Trails for consumptive uses and recreation. Consumptive water from the lake is transported via a 7.5 mile long ditch. The dam does not include hydropower facilities. This reservoir is merely a single development in a larger network of other tributaries and reservoirs which spans the greater part of Northern California. In order to understand this area, we must also understand the engineer who created the reservoir, John Samuel Eastwood, who was instrumental in developing the multiple arc dam. John Samuel Eastwood was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota in 1857 and died in Fresno, California, August 1924. He was born to Dutch parents and directly translated his last name from Oosterhuis to Eastwood in high school. He studied civil engineering at the University of Minnesota, graduated in 1880, but was so eager to start his career and join the workforce that he actually skipped graduation and had his diploma mailed to him as he headed west to work on the railroad construction projects in the Pacific Northwest. By 1883, he moved to Fresno and established a business as a surveyor and civil engineer, later becoming Fresno's first city engineer in 1885. Working as a government employee did not suit his aptitude, so he resigned shortly after in 1886. Like many engineers, he would find a lucrative and fulfilling life in the private sector, first working for the Smith & Moore Lumber Company, and later became the chief engineer of the San Joaquin Electric Company in 1895, where he designed one of California's earliest hydroelectric plants. At the time, Eastwood's hydroelectric plant was considered a groundbreaking achievement due to its record-setting penstock head at 1,400 feet, long-distance power transmission up to 35 miles, and high-voltage three-phase output of 11,000 volts. Unfortunately, the corporate budget proved insufficient to meet the great cost of constructing the dam, which was located in the remote reaches of the mountains, and as a result, Eastwood was forced to rely on an undammed natural supply of water to drive the turbines and generators. Because of this, he was unable to impound and store runoff. The project was ultimately a failure, and after a long time, there was a drought which dried up the North Fork of the San Joaquin River, ultimately leading to the demise of the San Joaquin Electric Company in 1899. So, despite this failure, Eastwood began working with Pacific Light and Power Company as engineer in charge of the Big Creek hydroelectric project. During this time, he strictly enforced the use of storage dams to ensure that a drought could not stop the hydroelectric plant's power production. Again, corporate finances would delay the project, and while designing the Big Creek project, Eastwood had also devised an inexpensive type of dam for use in other projects. These concepts would use reinforced concrete, minimizing the amount of material required and reducing construction costs. This method appealed to several other companies, so in 1908, while waiting for work on the Big Creek project, he actually designed and built the Hume Lake Dam for the Hume Bennett Lumber Company. This structure is located in the Sierra Nevada, roughly 45 miles south of Big Creek. Its completion in 1909 demonstrated the practicality of his multiple arc design. Despite his success in this endeavor, he would find himself out of work again when corporate disagreed with his methods. He lost his position and was forced to relinquish his stake in the Pacific Light and Power Company. After this endeavor failed, Eastwood continued to build 4 dams in California, and his reputation as a dam designer was actually growing. He wrote several articles in Western Engineering describing the Los Verjeles Dam in Yuba County, California, which was used to create Lake Mildred. In Spanish, Los Verjeles means the orchards. In one article, the president of Los Verjeles Land and Water Company of California, G.P. McKilcuddy, was quoted as stating that his company had obtained excellent service from Eastwood's Los Verjeles Dam, going so far as to say, "For weeks at a time, last winter, floodwaters had to pass over its entire crest length to a depth of 3 feet, carrying over logs and debris with no injury or cost to repair." McKilcuddy expressed complete satisfaction with Eastwood's work and recommended his dams without hesitation. Although much of the history surrounding Lake Mildred is not readily available, some aspects of Eastwood's work help paint a picture of this historic lake. Shortly after Eastwood's death in 1924, French Stoher, editor of World's Works magazine, wrote, "Los Angeles owes its very existence in large measure to this man, few of its citizens ever heard named, due to his own modesty."